see if the audio is working. Yo, 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 testing, 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 1, 2, testing. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Give it like 2 more minutes, then we'll get into it. We got quite a few things we're going to talk about today. Quite a few things. Quite a few things. Oh, let me play another song I really like. Really like. Ooh. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Y'all can hear it because my camera was on. For those tuning in after the fact, welcome. It's your boy GATO. I'm glad you guys can be here. We have an exciting show for you guys. Haven't decided if we're going to put this behind the YouTube channel membership. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Haven't decided just yet. But I know what we will be doing is talking about the CoryxKenshin, and let me take this music off. We're going to be talking about the CoryxKenshin and some crazy Colombiana Latinas out here causing drama. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you like these kind of videos, consider, you know what, let's do the intro again because I just realized I didn't have the music. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. I'm your boy GATO, also known as GATO Attack. We're going to be talking about 2 very important things today. We're going to be talking about CoryxKenshin, as well as some crazy Latinas, some crazy Colombian mommies out here killing everyone, okay? That's what we'll be talking about. So let me know what you think if you're tuning in live. But if you're tuning in after the fact, let me know what you think in the comments. If you want to see more of these. We got quite a few things we can talk about too. We're not just stuck to that. I'm going to give it probably 1 more minute before... I mean, technically the number they say is like the first 10 minutes you want to chill. Let buddy want to chill. Fuck Botrix. By the way, that's such a good game. Highly recommend it. Man, I'm just not used to streaming anymore. Not only that, I'm not used to streaming on YouTube. YouTube has always been kind of an interesting place.
It's
An interesting place to stream, solely because it's like you really never know what you're gonna get, especially at the time of day or when. Hell, most of y'all might be asleep right now, but who knows? A mother knows. All right, let's get to the videos, though. I don't want to wait the 10 minutes. Maybe you can call me impatient. So what? So what? So what? I don't know. I tried to, because of I wanted to start at 12:30. So like they say, oh, wait 10 minutes. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to start at 12:15. So I can start at 12:30. Such a days, such a days, such a days. Such a days. Such a days. Such are days. Oh my goodness. It's been so hot, by the way. So I hope the audio, well, I mean, I was just listening to it earlier, but I hope it's not too crazy. Because it's been so hot in here. I mean, the AC. Hope you don't hear it too much, but will forgive me for that. Let's just start. Fuck it. This is. Hey guys. Should we clip it and separate it? I think we will. I'm gonna do that. So it looks like CoryxKenshin has got himself in some sticky situations or situation. But apparently he beat the allegations in 24 hours. Well, let's check it out in today's video. Link to the original video is down in the description below as always. But if you like the conversations and discussions we do here on this channel, consider participating when we're live like we are now or subscribing and joining us. Let's get into this. If you at any point feel compelled to give a super thanks, appreciate that. Let's get it.
I actually did something to you while you were asleep too.
What?
I'm sorry. I just got this fetish that I do. You know.
Well, guys, welcome back to the greatest channel.
If you didn't see that, he said, POV, this is one of the videos you look back on and realize he never cared. He just wanted to see how long you'd let him hurt you. And then he says,
You know.
she says, for clarification, he did not SA me, which means, I don't want to say the two words, but it's like the assault of the body. That makes sense. Because I don't want to get demonetized. But yes, that's what it means. I don't know if if it makes any sense, but it'll make sense when it needs to.
Well, guys, welcome back to the greatest channel on the internet, and I think the world just witnessed a speed run on beating allegations, because so far in the big 2.5 and even last year in the medium 2.4, I don't think we've seen allegations debunked this fast like ever, because to my understanding, it hadn't even been a full 24 hours yet, and people were already celebrating CoryxKenshin beating the allegations. But for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, let me explain.
I honestly think, well, people were celebrating beating the allegations mostly because, one, let's just be fair. It's always been a thing, regardless of who the creator is. Not doing this to dog on Cory. This is not really anything to really do with him, but people always celebrate beating the allegations solely because of their fans of the creators before they even get it. So I wouldn't hold that part of it too high, but, it's whatever, right? It's whatever.
you've ever been on YouTube, then you most likely have heard of the name CoryxKenshin. He's a very, very popular YouTuber with over 20 million subscribers, who occasionally likes to disappear from his YouTube channel. But recently, a long-term ex-girlfriend of his came out and said that he was abusive, manipulative, toxic, and even had some SA allegations thrown in there. And she was even making TikToks talking about how Cory had hurt her.
Bacon avocado.
Wait, what? What is this bacon avocado trend? I don't actually know it. Let me know in the comments. I actually don't know what this is.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And I'm not
I like that sound effect. Do I still have it? I don't think I do. No, it is what it is. I'm not gonna look
the
through
only
it.
one. Is crazy. And once those allegations were put on the internet, they spread like wildfire.
CoryxKenshin? This can't be true, bro. I deadass thought this was a saint. But I hear you like doing stuff to people when they sleep. Now look, of course, there is a chance the is lying, but we can't just, you know what I'm saying, what they talking about. We gotta listen to both sides. This deadass, one of the most impactful, biggest YouTubers on the entire earth, and you have allegations like this.
From TikTok to Twitter.
I've never even really considered him like, maybe it's just me and maybe I'm a little bit older so it doesn't really bother me, but I've always seen him more of as like a traditional YouTuber, not like an impactful YouTuber. Does that make sense? Like, because there's big YouTubers who just really don't be doing nothing in a bad way. Does that make sense? Like, or a good way. They just kind of exist and they make content and they live their lives, which some would say that's the way you should be doing it, because you're out of drama, you just living your life, you're making things people want to enjoy. Kind of like, if that's why like gaming, just let's plays. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's not impact, but at the same time, it's like, it's content, it's entertainment. You're an entertainer. So I hope that makes sense, but I don't know. I just never felt the impact of Cory, I guess.
To Reddit, all these allegations spread very quickly. A bunch of people even made articles about it, which I'm not gonna lie, is kinda insane. And throughout all these articles and TikTok videos and people on Twitter, a lot of people thought that CoryxKenshin was guilty of the stuff that he was being accused of. And mostly because of videos like this that the ex-girlfriend was posting. POV, you didn't know this was one of the videos you'd look back on and realize he never cared. He just wanted to see how long you'd let him hurt you.
Still on.
It's still on.
Then I woke up again and it was off.
Did you watch me sleep? Did you watch me sleep?
Yeah, I actually did something to you while you were asleep too.
What?
I'm sorry. I just got this fetish that I do. You know.
What?
I didn't hurt you. You're good, right?
What'd you do, Cory?
Just don't worry about it.
Cory?
Good.
Cory, what did you do?
Do nothing. Look, this came right on my face. I didn't do anything.
He did something, and I'm gonna find out on the next episode of.
Now, very.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how I feel about that video. Also, I didn't even realize my hair's that crazy. Sorry, I was out in the sun. Yeah, I actually don't really know how I feel about that. I'm going to be completely honest. That video actually, I guess the issue is, why is she recording like that? Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know the relationship well enough, but like, just a recording like that is really weird. Feels very entrappy. But I mean, I guess that's not really a good word, but like, just like kind of a setup type deal. But also, I don't know. I just it doesn't sit right with me. I think it being on the internet maybe has made me so jaded on what people have when it comes into like recordings like this. I don't know. I always just feel that anytime someone pulls out a camera like that in that like that style of situation, it's always for no good. And so if they're going out there being malicious, then it's like, I don't know if I don't know. Maybe Amber Heard really fucked it up for everybody. I really think that's what it was. I think Amber Heard just really fucked it up for everybody.
Very clearly, this was just a bad joke by Cory, saying that he did something to her while she was sleeping.
Yeah, I actually did something to you while you were asleep too.
What?
I'm sorry. I just got this.
Was it a joke? I don't even like the funny thing is I don't even know if it was a joke, nor did I take it as a joke. But at the same time, I feel like, is it even that serious? Because like it seems like her in that video is not even taking it serious. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe I'm not even reading enough into it because it's just doesn't. I don't know. They're two consenting adults and they're chilling. Like I don't understand that.
This fetish that I do, you know.
And once again, I mean, clearly we can tell that he's joking. I mean, look at his face. He looks like he's about to smile or laugh. But somehow, some way, this got turned into people thinking Cory essayed her while she was sleeping. The caption on the video also isn't doing him any favors.
Yeah, that's really what made me feel weird about this video is the caption. It's like the caption does not match the energy in the video. And that's why I feel like it's just, I don't know. Feels like a trap from the very beginning.
Because she's talking about him hurting her, even though it's not in that way. And because of that, people on Twitter absolutely ran with it, with people saying they are grieving the CoryxKenshin situation and that they have videotaped proof. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what they're talking about. I guess people took that joke of his as a literal confession, which is insane. Did I also mention that this video she posted is from like 2018? So in 2025, she's now posting things from 7 years ago, trying to make Cory look bad. However, at the very least, I am glad that she came out and said Cory didn't essay her, which a lot of people thought from the video, but it still begs to question why she even posted it in the first place.
True. And that's really what I need to know. Why? Like, what is she really getting out of it? Because like if she wanted to get back with him, she could have, I'm sure she could just do that. I don't know their relationship. Maybe they like broke up and there was all this, there's all that, whatever, you know, but I don't know. I just feel like clout is a hell of a drug, and once you get off that little high, it's just not worth it.
7 years later. And by the way, at this point, Cory still hasn't responded or said anything on the topic. After posting the now deleted video, she also started posting stuff like this. Dear CoryxKenshin, I didn't want to do this, but I don't owe you my silence anymore. There's no clean way to start, just that familiar weight in my chest while the world kept applauding someone who never showed up for me. I was never part of your world publicly. You made sure I stayed close, just far enough to be invisible. Pause real quick. Can you guys understand how the writing of this makes it seem way more serious than it is?
Is she just complaining that she didn't get like the front and like he didn't like bring her into his like content? Is that what she's complaining about? That she also wasn't a star with him, that he didn't like pedestal her? Because if that's what she's complaining about, then it only further proves the point why he didn't do that, and it was a good call not to. I'll be honest. I think the thing about when you're a celebrity on the internet and you're doing all this stuff, like, at the end of the day, it's your content, your channel, your community. If you start bringing in other people, you just create a whole situation. I'm talking about, like, your partners and your girlfriends, your wives, or whatever. You change the dynamic of the situation. You create opportunities for people to exploit you, or like, for example, her, clearly she's upset that she was made invisible. Okay, yeah, but that's just on the internet. That's not real life. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, I don't know. I now that we see nowadays how people are when it comes to clout, it only makes it more of a point to just like keep your personal life as far out of the internet as you can, as much as you can, at least. Obviously, some people, like certain YouTubers and celebrities, really thrive on having everything on there, like, you know, your Logan Pauls and your Jake Pauls and stuff like that. But You know, that's their brand and they accept it, and they also make more money from it. So it's a trade-off.
She's making it seem like she was tortured or kidnapped or something way worse, when that isn't the situation at all. Your followers eat up the whole man of faith image you push, but faith without basic decency isn't faith, it's branding. And once again, guys, they dated a long time ago, so all this just feels like very creepy stalker ex-girlfriend vibes. You talk about devotion, but act like hurting people in private doesn't count. That's not devotion, that's hypocrisy. You fooled a lot of people, but not me. Well, clearly he did fool you, because that's why you're posting these. And look,
And also, this is, how long ago were they dating? 7 years ago? Like, Brody, like, this is crazy. This is actually crazy to me.
he has a lot more slides that I'm not about to read because they're not really that important. But the most important part is you ghosted me, not because you were confused, but to teach me a lesson. You made me feel like I had the strength to earn a reply. Every move was calculated, even if I couldn't see it back then. So essentially, this whole thing can be summed up to she's salty she got ghosted. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what this whole entire thing is about. But don't worry, guys, because this one was only part 1 and she has a part 2 and a part 3. And luckily she's on public again, because when I tried to look at this hours ago, she was on private. So I'm kind of confused why she went back to public, even though she knows she's gonna get a—
So wait. What is she accomplishing? I just don't understand with this. Never in my life did I think my crazy ex roommate would make me come online to defend a man. Why are we falsely accusing people from 8 years ago? This is what makes it so hard for people to levy allegations. So true. What?
a bunch of hate for this. But in part 2, as you can see before I even click on it, it says where it gets worse. And then came the Xbox messages. It wasn't even what you said, it was how you casually said it. Like nothing you'd done had ever left a scar. Like you hadn't already shattered me once and just gotten bored. And on the next slide, we have some Xbox messages, which is apparently from CoryxKenshin and her. Okay, so what's up? You still seeing someone? Why do you ask? Because I'm trying to F your life up some more. What? That was a joke, geez, LOL. I was just asking. Never heard you curse before. That's why you threw me off. And these sadly weren't the only messages, guys.
Okay, honestly, I'm just gonna say it. A lot of your favorite creators, this dude's been on the internet since like 2009. A lot of these people, a lot of us, I mean, even me included, are super cringe and kind of corny for a long time. So, spoiler alert, this like cool online persona stuff only really came like recently when brands and shit started molding the internet space. So I saw these and I was like, this is so crazy. People were like this. And then I was like, I wasn't like this, but I did like I remember one time I got banned on Xbox communications for 24 hours because I sent a message to a guy. I was like, can you play or can you do what did I say? I was like, do your job, or can you play your role correctly, or can you just do your job or something like that? And I forgot what game we were playing, but he was supposed to be a healer, but he wasn't healing. And the fact that I got banned for that is crazy, but also it's funny that I was like sending a message like that. Like, oh, why can't you just do your job? It's super cringe, but you know, we all been there. But I saw these on Twitter and I was like, this is crazy.
Guys, if you keep scrolling, she eventually posted some more DMs of her and CoryxKenshin. And once again, this all stems from her being mad she got ghosted like 7 years ago. And from the look of some of these DMs, you could probably make the case that Cory is a bad person, but that would be stretching it a lot. There was also supposedly some tweet going around from the ex Panda Ninja that basically says she was lying about the messages, but it was a fake account, and I'm not gonna lie, they kind of got me for a second. The part 3 on her page is a thread that's entirely too long, and I really do not feel like reading, but essentially it's just about another girl. She also claims this is the end of her letter and that she didn't write this for attention. However, once again, this was 7 to 8 years ago.
This is crazy. The fact, I don't know if you see this, but on the bottom right here, she has 220 or 23,000 likes and 0 comments. Dang. Yeah, definitely got the attention you needed. I'll tell you what. What the fuck? This is crazy. How is this like? This is what I don't understand. Okay, like earlier when I was saying like just because someone's popular doesn't mean they like have impact on the space. I think this is why you don't want to have impact on the space. in regards to Cory Kenshin's situation, because he's not really like going out of his way to change things, or like he exists in his own space, at least that I know of. Because he sticks to his own, doing his own thing, when something like this pops up, more people are likely to not believe her. Does that make sense? Like, that is the advantage of just kind of doing your own thing and just entertaining your audience and just being true to what a content creator is. Whereas, like, if you got other characters, like other people that out here starting drama, right? Like your Hamas Piker group that are always going around instigating, doing all this crazy shit. Of course, when something pops up about them, people are more likely to believe it because, you know, they've been trying to impact the space, whether negatively or positively. So there's a lot of trade-offs, but I think this is a perfect example why, when you're a creator, just do your own thing. People will fuck with you and believe you if you have a habit of being like not crazy. Like, that makes sense. Kind of a low bar to set, but it really is. It's the simplicity is what makes it so underrated. People underrate simple.
So there's no reason you should still be thinking of this stuff. It's also the fact that you posted it online for everybody to see.
True.
Because she wanted attention. She also posted this long 4-minute video, which I guess is for clarity.
I just really want to make this clear that, and this is very important, I'm saying this literally with all my heart.
Where's your
This was never about defaming Cory at all.
So why? So this is the thing I never understood. Why do people talk like this and then never show their face?
It literally was me venting about something that happened to me in the past that did hurt me. I felt at that moment that I wanted to share with people that may have similar experiences like I did. And that's basically it.
I'm not quite sure what happened to Diaries. Like, I don't think you need to post everything that's happened to you in the past, especially when you know the person you're talking about has a very huge following and this happened 7 to 8 years ago. And it's not even like anything super terrible happened to you. You got ghosted. It happens a lot to everybody. You didn't have some special experience that the world needed to know. You simply just tried to capitalize off his name and it didn't work, which is why you now have your comments off. CoryxKenshin still never responded to any of these allegations, which is probably what she wanted the most. But yet and still, without saying a word or lifting a finger, Cory has beaten all of the allegations, and people on Twitter and TikTok are now posting stuff like this.
Nigga, if I'm Cory, y'all getting a video a day for a month straight. Because the way y'all niggas locked in to debunk that shit is insane. The allegations dropped on 9 p.m. last night, and it was cleared up by the morning.
So yeah, in other words,
because it's like, again, like, he's not like going out of his way to cause trouble. He's really just a dude keeping to himself. Like, this is literally it's just it just doesn't make sense. Like, someone now, if it was like allegations of him like murdering somebody, I think that would be a little bit different, because it's like, well, you can't just say that, you know. But I don't know. I think, yeah, and it comes back to like there was a video a while back. I don't know if it's how recent it is, but I know I've seen it on my Twitter feed where people talk about like what happens at like these video conventions, these creator conventions. You know, hey, all I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is this. You love to see it or you hate to see it. Either way, consider subscribing. What do you think about all this CoryxKenshin stuff? Do you think my analysis was good? Do you think there is anything crazy out there about him? I don't think so, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. Check out the next one. Bye-bye. I'm not going to clip this later. I don't know why I did that. All right, let's get this next video up. Ah, dang, my feet hurt. Everybody. Yeah. Rock your body. Yeah, yeah. Backstreet Boys, all right. Do 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 do. Oh, please don't tell me I got. Am I muted? No, I'm not. Oh, whoa. Do do do. All right, this next one is the the what's the title? Let me see. Why Colombian Latinas are killing lonely men for profit. Sounds crazy, but this has actually been going on for a long time. I'm not even going to play with you. I've known about this even when I was growing up, which is even crazier. It's exactly what the title says. So let's get into it. Link to the original video is always in the description, even of this live stream. So there's no excuse. Let's get into it.
A 28-year-old software developer from Atlanta wakes up alone in a hotel room 1,975 miles from home. The room is just completely trashed and he has no memory of the night before. Scrambling for a phone that is no longer there, he notices empty bottles on the nightstand, sheets pulled off the bed, and panic starts to set in. He swipes the clothes on the floor to check for his wallet, his bag, even his expensive work watch, all gone. The more his eyes dart across the room looking around, the more painful his headache becomes. This wasn't a normal hangover. There's a metal taste in his mouth and his stomach is starting to cramp. Marcus can hardly think straight and just wants
Oh, this is gonna get crazy. Oh, man.
to go home. But at least my passport is still secure, he thinks. But then he sees it. The door of the hotel's safe, wide open and empty. Anxiety turns to dread. They took everything. But just a few days ago, everything was fine. So what happened? His memory was blank besides the faintest hint of perfume and cigarette smoke. He closed his eyes and could hear the echo of clicking high heels on a marble floor, a woman's voice speaking rapid Spanish down the phone. And then from that, a word.
And by rapid Spanish, he really means it, because they be
sounded through the pain in his head. It was a name, Camila.
Camila.
A week ago,
Camilla.
Marcus sat in his apartment staring at his phone in total silence. He'd been messaging an American woman for 2 weeks. It felt like real conversations, not just small talk. She'd actually engaged with his story, she asked about his work and seemed genuinely interested in him. For the first time in months, he felt like maybe he was getting somewhere.
This is what terrifies me about online dating. I would never do that. Because it's like, it just feels like you're about to get fucking... Like nowadays, it's just, maybe because I knew about this stuff, like I was just like, you're going to get murdered, you're going to get kidnapped, people are going to go dig, you know, of course, or they're just trying to get the green card. Like there's so many reasons why for someone to do this to somebody else. So I'm just like, hey man, I don't trust it. If I can't see it, I don't trust it.
Like maybe he'd finally broken through that invisible wall that seemed to exist between him and the opposite gender.
And the thing is, too, it's like, it's usually, like, I'm not really that attractive anymore. I would say anymore, because I used to be really attractive when I was younger. But, like, I'm realistic with my expectations. Ain't nobody attract, super hot, gonna want this. So if I see this online, I know for a fact it's a scam. Yep. Breaks you hot, but you gotta be real, you know? Be real with yourself.
After a couple of beers, he asked. A simple dinner invitation, nothing pushy. She read this message, and then there was no reply. A typical thing for him. Typical. He just had that feeling again that he couldn't shake. This woman was another in a sequence of rejection. His heart grew colder and his perspective dimmer and darker. Later that night, he found himself in a familiar territory. He'd been searching Medellin for months, partly because he'd heard good things from people he knew, but also because of the content that had been piped into his feed. Non-stop videos of these guys filming themselves on GoPros, partying with beautiful women in exotic places.
Wait, are these videos meant to feed into this pipeline? Of, like, getting murdered by Colombian women? No, that's not real. Because, like, I feel like a lot of travel videos do that anyway. Because it's easy content. Just wonk. You're not doing anything. You're not even narrating. That's crazy. No, there's no way. Is he going to say that?
Where you could just be with a beautiful, wholesome woman, drinking cheap beers on an exotic beach, speaking some broken Spanish, and really just enjoying life. And all it seemed to take was a plane flight. Marcus understood that he was in a vulnerable state, but he just couldn't stop himself. How could you? How could you even resist the temptation of this? He'd started off just watching simple dating content or discussions on how romance in the Western world had changed. But
which I do agree with, but also some of these things are kind of, how do I say, yeah, they're They're trying to sell you a course at some point.
After getting recommended content showing how much different dating abroad was, and the seemingly infinite upside you get as a young American bachelor with some cash, he grew more and more desperate, and now he just needed one little push. Maybe it was that last chat he had with the woman, or perhaps the powerful influences telling him how Western women take everything
Yo, that's my account.
from men and give nothing back.
But Josh should follow me on Twitter. Link in the description.
He found his thoughts changing. Earlier that very same day, he found himself snapping at another bland girl, spilling coffee in his arm. The same as all the rest, useless and out to get him. He didn't know what was happening to his mind, but he felt profanities echoing around it in women's presence. Sinking another drink, his finger hovered over the confirm button for his flight, and he clicked. In just a few hours, he lands in Medellin. The heat slaps
Medellin. Soy de Medellin, I am Pablo Escobar.
him in the face, and he knows he's somewhere completely different. And he wasn't the only one. There are about 8 to 9 single men also with him from America in queue near him, all likely going for the same reason. But he did know that over 1 million people visit this popular Colombian city every year. It's a tourist hotspot. He'd read about the world-class museums, the vibrant nightlife, and the stunning architecture. The weather was perfect all year round, the food's exceptional, there's amazing coffee, and everything costs a fraction of what you'd pay back home. But if we're being real, that wasn't the top of his mind right now. Marcus had more.
He was just trying to goon. The goon was polluting his brain.
Romantic plans. Romance tourism to cities like Medellin is a movement that spans continents and crosses borders. It's an entire industry of people foregoing relationships at home to take on something bolder and more fruitful abroad. Some actively embrace terms like passport bros, pushed by influencers with massive followings who've turned this lifestyle into a business. The R Passport Bros subreddit has grown to over 80,000 members in just a few years, creating an international network where countries are ranked on maps and experience.
That's what's crazy. This is, as soon as it got to this level, I was like, yeah, we need to not embrace this, I feel like.
Is shared for how great they are for men like Marcus. While Colombia has dominated the headlines, a few countries rank at the top of the best locations for passport bros, from Thailand to Vietnam to the Philippines and Brazil and even Eastern Europe. Some men actually go to this community and showcase their success to get advice or actually provide some value to other men looking to do the same thing, but not everyone is lucky. And then there's the opportunists, making a commodity out of hundreds of people like Marcus and turning romance tourism into an industry that serves them, and not the vulnerable men they purport to care about. What Marcus didn't realize was that his arrival was predictable, and hadn't gone unnoticed by those who'd learned to profit from young, vulnerable men. The digital pipeline that had delivered him here was just one side of an equation he didn't yet understand. But the course was...
So it is a digital pipeline. No, that's scary. That's actually kind of scary.
Set. One of the first things he did when he gets to Medellin was download Tinder, and suddenly like that he was stunned.
I mean, you could just change your location. You don't even have to do all that. Get a VPN, I think.
To get all these matches with women he could never get back at home. And this is when he matched with a beautiful looking woman named Camilla on Tinder. And she suggested meeting at Hotel Dan Carlton. She mentioned this had the best view in El Poblado, main place for expats in Medellin, adding, "You'll love it." But unbeknownst to Marcus, that one simple message would change everything. Camilla watched Marcus's face light up when he saw her. He was nervous and couldn't believe how attractive she was. But for Camilla, this was just another tourist, another rooftop bar, and another performance. She was just 24, but she'd been doing this for at least 2 years now. She studied nursing during the day, that part was always true when she told them. But in the evening, she worked a different kind of shift. She wasn't necessarily a prostitute, at least not exactly. She told herself that distinction mattered. She was more like a tour guide.
What the actual fuck, dude? That's actually that's crazy. That's also scary, dude.
Camilla put Marcus at ease, told him how excited she was to show him her city.
It's scary because it's like there is a distinction, I feel like, sure. What she's basically saying is she's an escort. She's not a tour guide. That's kind of I don't want to get into the terms. It's not really, that's not really what's important. The important part is how much the culture allows that many people to feel that they're quote unquote tour guides. Does that make sense? It's the quantity of people feeling comfortable doing this, not so much what's being done. I mean, obviously what's being done is scary, but the quantity is also extremely terrifying.
and it wasn't entirely fake. He seemed kind, courteous, genuinely interested in what she had to say, and after a few drinks she could see his confidence returning. In another life, maybe this could have all been real, but tonight was different for Camilla. She never lets those thoughts get to her for too long, as she's been discussing a new technique with her friends the night before, something industrially efficient. Her friend Isabella had been using this for months. She'd shown Camilla the small vial of white powder, explaining how just a tiny amount could render a man completely compliant.
Fent.
With that, you can kill 10 people, but it's better in powder form. You rub it on their chest, Isabella explained. The substance came from the bolachero tree, drunken binge, that grew wild throughout Colombia. It produces beautiful white bell-shaped flowers that hang like lamps. In the West, it's better known as datura or the angel's trumpet, but Camilla knew it by its street name, devil's breath. Most call it scopolamine. It's tasteless, odorless, and you can hide it on a business card and just blow it in someone's face. And the results of this can be described as zombification. Within minutes, victims enter a state of zombie-like compliance. They'll hand over their valuables willingly, follow instructions without question, even withdrawing their money from ATMs with their captors standing right beside them. 50 milligrams of it can kill you, but deaths are pretty rare. Victims usually just...
What the actual... This is terrifying. What? No way. So you're like hostage almost.
Stay compliant longer. Some reports still feeling the effects of the high for 15 days.
Duré 17 días viajando con otro parcero. Mi parcero se quedó en el viaje. El man hoy en día anda así en la calle.
When victims do eventually wake up, sometimes 24 hours later, they remember absolutely nothing. It literally blocks the neurotransmitters in the brain responsible for recording memory. The US...
That's scary, dude. No way. How is this not...
State Department reports unofficial estimates of 50,000 scopolamine incidences per year in Colombia, more than 130 every single day. According to the National Police, a scopolamine attack occurs every 10 hours in Bogota, with police admitting the vast majority of incidences are men poisoned by women from small street gangs called micro-cartels. Camilla studied Marcus across the table as he talked about his work, his hopes for the trip, but he just had no idea what was coming, or that there was an entire industry preying on people like him. Was this coldly calculated? At this point, yes. She felt glimpses of something else, pity, maybe even guilt, but once again she knew how to dull those doubts. After all, she hadn't planned for her life to turn out this way, and Marcus had come here looking for exactly this, right? Two different parts at the same table, and she wasn't really caring about what he was saying, it was just time to move. So
this is why you should never be in love. I'm just gonna say it.
So she excused herself to the bathroom, did the end of a cigarette into the powder, then returned with a smile. Want to step outside for some air? 50 minutes passed and she watched the change happen exactly as Isabella had described. Marcus looked up at her, confused for half a second, then with that glazed expression she'd been told to expect. Let's go somewhere quieter, she said. He nodded like a child and just followed her. Now by this point, Marcus clearly found himself in an extremely dangerous position as they got into the cab. He was sucked in, and you could even say lured in, by a powerful travel industry built around dating abroad. But behind the soft lighting, the palm trees, and the smiling local women and influencer videos is a huge growing business, one that turns male loneliness into views, subscriptions, and paid coaching funnels.
This is it. This is the part I know about. The coaching and all that, and subscriptions and all this shit.
Romance tourism has always been popular, but love is one of the most easily corrupted emotions, one of the main things you can manipulate men with, and it's manifested itself as an industry of mixed and often dark intent. Women abroad like Camilla are depicted as respectful to men in a way that those at home aren't. They're receptive. But some just depict them as just easy to pick up. Some have actually been accused of using the same women in their videos or paying them to join as a part of their marketing game. The same influencers who claim women in other countries respect men more are often the same ones who are seen with multiple women on each arm. They're picking up women in the street, showing how easy it is to hook up. Most of all, they just make it look so effortless. If you have a Western passport, you'll get the hottest women. You just stop them in the street, chat to them, and that's all you need to do. Even just doing this in English, not speaking their native language. Just be confident and it will all fall into place. Or and maybe pick up their course for $1,000 a month just to be sure you get all of their tips. The dangers of this just can't be ignored. Many warn followers to take a picture of a girl's ID before bringing them home. Some joke about getting scoped, drugged, and robbed, like it was just part of the adventure. For some, it's part of the thrill. You'd think people like Camilla would be more aware of these stories than Marcus, but the influencers tout these stories as if they were some funny holiday event.
There's not a doubt about it. Colombian women are the most beautiful women in the world, but they're also the most dangerous. You never know when they might slip in your drink. You never know. You might wake up without your phone, your iPad, your hair.
Is he bragging? I think he's bragging.
Cards missing, $5,000 in cash.
You go scoping me.
I got scoped here.
What happened?
2 years ago. That's the coolest part. I don't know what happened. I woke up without my shit.
The darkest truth is some romance tourists like Marcus never actually come home. People in Marcus's position, following the advice of men who apparently care about their love lives, have suffered horrible endings while in their pursuits of respectful women. Take the tragic story of Paul Nguyen, a 27-year-old logistics consultant from California who didn't return to his Airbnb after going on a Tinder date in 2022. He'd taken a Snapchat photo of his date, a slim brown-haired woman in a white jacket. The next morning, he didn't return to the Airbnb and his friends raised an alarm. It turned out that his credit card was used multiple times in odd late-night transactions. 12 hours later, his body was then discovered behind a trash bin 5 miles away from the bar.
So he didn't even realistically go that far, and he got fucking murdered.
The family of a young man from Orange County is struggling with their grief and at the same time trying to find out how and why he was killed while on vacation in Colombia.
Then there was Tao Xiong, a 50-year-old Minnesota comedian who called his family in December 2023 saying he needed $2,000 because he'd been kidnapped. The family then sent the money through PayPal immediately, but it wasn't enough. The next morning, his body was found at the bottom of a ravine near the Robledo district. He'd been tied, tortured, stabbed, and then thrown 260 feet down a cliff.
What?
Other survivors described the same pattern. A 28-year-old businessman, also a victim of scopolamine in Colombia, told reporters, quote, "I matched with a girl on Tinder. Just another girl, I thought. Just another date. She took my iPad, my phone, my wallet, my credit cards, my ID, everything but my laptop." And if you're shocked by these two men dying in the pursuit of pleasure, it's more common than you might think. And this issue may lay a lot closer to home than imagined. Porn addiction will mentally kill you long before you reach the same fate as these guys.
True.
Twitter is on a mission to take over the industry, help men regain control of their lives, and finally break free from this evil habit. With their in-app 28-day challenge, 500,000 men have already seen incredible changes in their lives, with increased discipline, improvement in ED, and confidence in themselves and in talking to women. Quitting porn doesn't have to be difficult, and with Twitter's cutting-edge app, 28 days is all it takes to enjoy the physical and mental benefits.
There is a lot of benefits to it. I remember when I was like in college, to say like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, I think everything in moderation is fine, but I feel like this specifically, it's just too easy of a rabbit hole to fall down.
Now you might be thinking, how do I know if I need help? Well, with Twitter's free porn addiction quiz, you can see how your habits compare to the 500,000 men that they have helped overcome their addiction forever. All you have to do is click the link in the description and download the app and begin the test. Today is the day you'll stop saying I'll quit tomorrow and regain control before it's too late. Like others before him, Marcus had been sold the dream of finding true love and delivered as prey. Now, as he was led out of the cab and to his hotel room by Camilla, he found himself at the mercy of forces above what he didn't foresee. You see, Camilla had actually tried OnlyFans as an escape route when she was younger, but this was way more effective. She was so close to finishing her nursing degree, but without tuition money, she'd have to drop out. Like so many countries targeted by romance tourists, most of the Colombian population is below the poverty line. Not many weeks ago, she created her first dating profile and joined a different kind of pipeline, a network of women targeting gringos.
Gringos. Los gringos, ahí vienen. Ya es hora de comer. Ya es hora de... Ahí viene el dinero. Here comes the money. Ahí viene. Ahí viene. Oh my God.
Not always Americans, but any foreigner with hard currency, who was naive enough to really believe they'd found true love. So here's what's really happening while you're watching these glossy, perfect influencer videos showing Colombia and other dangerous countries in a similar way. Local networks are working and studying these men who deliver these dreams. They want you to believe in an image so that they can milk you. The system for
They gotta milk you. Sorry.
Exploiting men on the ground in places like Colombia has evolved around the same time as the male loneliness epidemic.
It's only going to get worse. I honestly think as more connected the world becomes, the worse it's going to get.
The one that these influencers get paid from. While online opportunities cultivated men like Marcus for months, local networks had learned to position themselves at the end of that pipeline, ready to extract their own value. In Colombia, some women work alone, others with gangs. Journalists in Medellin have even uncovered gang bosses like the so-called Queen of Scopolamine, a serial killer who killed between 5 to 6 men, although according to her court testimony there were a considerable amount of others. Now of course, Colombian authorities are aware of this problem, but they're overwhelmed. In a city with more than 25,000 reported robberies annually, only a fraction ever lead to arrests.
Oh my
and most
God.
of the time, nobody's talking to the police, they're completely corrupt. But that's not the point. Why are these men coming here in the first place? What is pushing them here? Is dating that bad in the West now that we need to find other poor countries where we can finally feel validated and actually find true love? What
Let me see what he says, and then I'm going to give my opinion on that.
this shows is what's lacking in men today in the West, that they feel so compelled to go to dangerous countries like these to find love, all because the people they interact with in their own countries seems to always reject them, or just be people they can't have any real connection with. Because this isn't just happening in Medellin, but it's also now starting to happen in many other cities around the world, targeting these Western tourists, from Manila to Bangkok. So cracking down too hard on the very image of warm hospitality is a complicated business.
But I think, but it's never going to go away. That's the issue, right? This is always going to be a thing because they're always, regardless if it wasn't an epidemic, it's just too much money to be made. And it's been being done. It's been done before the internet. So it's just, that's my opinion on that. But the thing is, it's like, do I think the West dating scene has gotten that bad that you need to go to these poorer countries? No. I just think you need to open your mind to what is culturally what you're looking for in your life, not so much dating. And I think that goes back to the issue of these pipelines of dating, like these courses, these gurus, right? That's the issue. That to me is more the issue than the loneliness part, because the loneliness part, people are going to be lonely regardless if they have money, no money, if they're with people or without. I just think it's like culturally, what do you want in your life? Move yourself to that. So for example, a lot of European countries tend to be less more conservative, for example, when it comes to family, traditional values. That to me is more appealing, right? But at the same time, if I'm going to another country to date, I should be there not just for that, but for the culture as well. Does that make sense? It's just a balance. It's like, what am I trying to say? There's a distinction between those who are going out of their way specifically for the extremes, right? For love, without any of the other things. Those people always will exist because those are extreme cases. It's just those extreme cases are more common, but they're always going to exist. That's all I want to say.
Camilla, who's stuck in this web just like Marcus, as she's had to grow up in a country ravaged by drug cartels and obviously in a third world bad situation. She realized she would make a year's wage in a night if she performed the fantasy people like Marcus had built before stepping off the plane. And of course, it's just business for these people, executing a usual strategy, walking Marcus to numerous ATMs to get money out for what she told him repeatedly was more drinks, walking back to his hotel room, plastering him with more drinks to keep him compliant as she systematically ransacked his room. She then coerced him into opening his safe to access his passport and rummaged through his belongings for anything with any semblance of resale value, while Marcus spent most of the time slurring and flopping around on the floor between being sick. Then, after locking him away helplessly in a wrecked room, she left to pay some of her bosses, as you can't do many of these things without others noticing and demanding their cut. But the fact that this is even an industry in the first place is really an indictment to how bad dating must be in the West.
It is bad, but again, I think these people would have fell for this regardless if it was bad or not. Does that make sense?
If people are going to obviously dangerous countries to do this sort of thing, and it's so common that there's now an entire criminal economy around this stuff, shows there must be some issue at home if so many guys are falling into this trap. The modern dating crisis and the growing loneliness epidemic are quietly leading to more and more of these cases. Faced with rejection, social isolation, and a collapsing sense of purpose in the West, many men are just fleeing to these countries where dating feels more traditional, connection more accessible, and finally gaining a sense of love, spurred on by influencers creating this echo chamber and this illusion that it's just impossible to find love in the West anymore.
Yes, I think, and again, like they talked about it in the beginning of the video, but it's like poorer countries. Like, look at the dynamic. It's people with medium to low income in the United States who want to go to these poorer countries because it puts them in a whole different income bracket. And that's why it's like, when I say it's like these people would have existed no matter what, it's because of that. Like, it's not, you're not seeing multi-millionaires go to these countries to do this. Does that make sense? And if they are, that's kind of crazy. But that's what I'm saying. It's not so much the love factor that's causing them to fall for these traps. It's the income factor. Because if they had the money, right, that they in their mind feel they need, they would have never gone to these poorer countries. They probably would have gone to more expensive countries that may not have these issues as prominently. Does that make sense? It's like the they would have chose the path, but based on their income, they would decide which way they went.
And in doing so, this is creating a global issue that's only getting so much worse. In Brazil, the US consulate in Rio recently issued a warning about drugging dating scams targeting tourists. Criminals seduce foreign men, slip sedatives into their drinks, then lose them and rob them in hotel rooms. We also see this in Bangkok and Bali, the same devil breath style scams, where victims are stumbling around like zombies, being completely controlled, their cards maxed out, and sometimes even overdose deaths. Medellin is just the most visible example, with 8 Americans vanished at once in late 2023, bringing the total to 29 deaths in recent years.
Jesus Christ.
It's so bad that even Tinder now has to place warnings on the app. On Facebook, we can see a private scopolamine victims group that has more than 5,000 members sharing stories in Lookout.
No way.
Thousands more are warning about this on the Passport Bros Reddit itself. And while most survive, living with this kind of experience would be difficult for anyone, especially those most lonely and unloved. And now, staring at the ceiling of his own flat rather than a hotel room, Marcus is learning the hardest lesson of all. Sometimes when you think you're the customer, you're actually the product just being sold.
Jesus Christ, that's terrifying. I don't know how to tell you. But what's love got to do with? All right, let me know what y'all think in the comments. We only have 2 videos planned for today. I want to start getting in the rhythm of streaming more. If you're tuning in, I appreciate you. I know a couple people stopped by in and out. This will be a members only. If you want to watch it again, it'll be a members only going forward.